July 14th, 1970. Pete Rose barrels towards home plate like a freight train about to deliver one of the most controversial hits in All-Star Game history. Fast forward 19 years. August 24th, 1989. That same Pete Rose walks into Commissioner Bart Giamatti's office facing a choice that would end his baseball career forever. Two moments, two controversies. One man who embodied everything fans loved and hated about baseball. Tonight, we're exploring how Charlie Hustle's greatest strengths became his greatest weaknesses. Pete Rose is baseball's ultimate paradox. He's the player who ran to first base on walks and the manager who bet on his own team. The hometown hero who became baseball's biggest villain. Born in Cincinnati, Rose wasn't the biggest or fastest player. What he had was an absolute refusal to give anything less than maximum effort. This mentality made him one of the greatest players in history and led to his two most controversial moments. Rose didn't know how to separate different types of competition. An All-Star game was the same as Game 7 of the World Series. A friendly bet was the same as a business transaction. Everything was competition, and competition was everything. By 1970, Rose was already a three-time All-Star and the leader of Cincinnati's Big Red Machine. His aggressive style had sparked controversy before. Some respected his hustle, others thought he crossed the line. The 1970 All-Star Game went to extra innings at Rose's home ballpark in Cincinnati. In the bottom of the 12th, with the AL leading 4-3, the National League had runners on base when Jim Hickman singled to center. As the throw came home, Pete Rose made a split-second decision. He broke from second base and kept running towards home plate, where 23-year-old Ray Fosse was waiting with the ball. Rose later said he had two choices: slide or run through the catcher. He chose to run through him. The collision was devastating. Rose lowered his shoulder and crashed into Fosse with tremendous force. Rose popped up celebrating. Fosse lay motionless on the ground. The crowd erupted as the NL tied the game 4-4. But Ray Fosse had separated his shoulder and suffered nerve damage that would affect him for life. When Rose saw Fosse struggling, he checked on him. "Are you okay?" Fosse said he was fine, but he wasn't. The collision sparked immediate debate. Rose's supporters saw competitive fire. His critics called it reckless in an exhibition game. Rose was unapologetic. "I play one way. I don't know how to play any other way." Before the collision, Fosse was hitting .312 with 16 home runs, having his best season. After the injury, he hit just .307 with 2 home runs the rest of the year. Fosse played 12 more seasons, but he was never the same. He finished with a .256 average and 61 home runs, far short of expectations before that July night. The heartbreaking part? Fosse never blamed Rose. "That's who Pete Rose was," he said. "I can't fault him for that." But he admitted, "I was never the same player. It definitely shortened my career." Fosse died in 2021, and many believe the collision's effects contributed to health problems throughout his life. As Rose's playing career wound down, he became player-manager of the Reds while chasing Ty Cobb's hit record. When he broke it in 1985 with hit 4,192, it was one of baseball's most celebrated moments. Rose seemed to have it all: fame, fortune, and guaranteed Hall of Fame induction. But behind the scenes, he was developing another obsession: gambling. What began as recreational betting on horses and football became something much more serious. By the mid-1980s, Rose was wagering thousands daily, using bookmakers and intermediaries to avoid detection. The same competitive drive that made Rose great at baseball made him believe he could beat the odds. The same confidence that got him 4,256 hits convinced him he could outsmart bookmakers. But Rose's gambling took a dangerous turn in 1985-86 when he began betting on baseball games, including his own team's games while managing the Cincinnati Reds. Rose bet on baseball regularly between 1985 and 1987, wagering $2,000 to $10,000 per game. He used code names, multiple phone lines, and trusted associates. He studied spreads and injury reports like he once studying opposing pitchers. Most damaging, Rose bet on at least 52 Cincinnati Reds games while managing the team. Even though he only bet on the Reds to win, This created serious conflicts of interest. If Rose bet on Tuesday's game but not Wednesday's, he might overuse his best pitcher Tuesday, leaving the team vulnerable Wednesday. These decisions could affect outcomes and compromise competitive integrity. The same win-at-all-cost mentality that led to the Fosse collision was now driving Rose to violate baseball's most sacred rule. Any player who shall bet any sum whatsoever upon any baseball game shall be declared permanently ineligible. In 1989, Rose's former associate Paul Jansen was arrested and revealed Rose's gambling to federal authorities. Commissioner Bart Giamatti launched an investigation led by attorney John Dowd. Rose's response was defiant. "I never bet on baseball, and I never will bet on baseball." But Dowd's investigation produced overwhelming evidence. The 225-page Dowd Report included testimony from bookmakers, phone records, and betting slip with Rose's handwriting. Key witness Ron Peters, a bookmaker, provided detailed record of Rose's bets. Jansen testified personally he placed baseball bets for Rose. Handwriting experts confirm Rose's writing on betting slips showing baseball wager. Faced with this evidence, Rose chose to accept a lifetime ban rather than fight it in a public hearing. On August 24, 1989, he signed the agreement, neither admitting nor denying he bet on baseball. For 15 years, Rose maintained his innocence with the same intensity he brought to getting hits. He denied betting on baseball in interviews, books, and public appearances. The same competitive drive that made Rose great made him incapable of admitting defeat. He couldn't accept losing this battle, just as he never accepted losing on the field. But in 2004, Rose finally admitted the truth on ABC's Primetime Live. "I bet on my baseball team every night. I bet on my team to win every night because I love my team." The admission came days before his book publication, leading many to suspect financial motivations rather than genuine remorse. Even in confessing, Rose framed it competitively because he bet on his team because he loved them. In February 2024, President Trump advocated for Rose on social media. "Over the next few weeks, I will be signing a complete pardon of Pete Rose, who shouldn't have been gambling on baseball, but only bet on his team winning." For Rose's supporters, this represented hope after decades of disappointment. Before Trump could act, Pete Rose died at age 83 in September 2024, still banned from baseball. Rose's death changed everything. Commissioner Rob Manfred, who had maintained the ban during Rose's lifetime, suddenly faced a different calculation. In death, Rose was no longer a threat to the game. In a stunning reversal, Manfred removed Rose from baseball's ineligible list. The decision was purely symbolic. Rose remained Hall of Fame ineligible, and death made reinstatement meaningless. "It was mixed," Manfred said about reactions. "Some people think it's right. Others get confused about the Hall of Fame." The irony was inescapable. Pete Rose spent 35 years seeking reinstatement and finally got it, but only after he could no longer enjoy it. Pete Rose's story is about the danger of extremes. The competitive fire that made him bowl over Ray Fosse made him bet on baseball. The refusal to accept defeat that got him 4,256 hits made him lie for 15 years. The collision and gambling scandal weren't separate controversies. They were different expressions of the same personality. Rose didn't know how to dial it back, whether running toward home plate or placing bets. His legacy isn't defined by 4,256 hits, but by whether greatness excuses everything else. His supporters believe accomplishment should outweigh mistakes. Critics argue some rules are too important to break, regardless of statistics. Pete Rose was the greatest competitor who broke baseball's most sacred rule. The hometown hero who became the sport's biggest villain. The hit king who died banned from his game. In the end, he remains baseball's most tragic figure. A man whose greatest strengths became his greatest weaknesses. What do you think? Was Pete Rose a victim of his own competitive nature, or did he get exactly what he deserved? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more stories about baseball's most controversial figures.